The following segment is sponsored by Marsha Gray Hill. No one has escaped the events of the last 4 years unscarred when the world felt like it was upside down. Today's guest is no exception when she, like so many Americans, lost a parent in the midst of the global pandemic. As she tried to process her grief, Marsha Gray Hill directed her emotions into writing a book designed to help others. Marsha, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Of course. So why was it so important for you to write Grief and Grit for people who suffered loss during the pandemic?
It was so important for me to write Grief and Grits because in order to get through grief, you have to have a lot of grit. The book is about my mom, Adeline Gray, and I lost her early on during the pandemic. She wasn't just a number. She was an extraordinary woman who lived an extraordinary life. Losing a mom at any age is very difficult, but losing mom was very traumatic because she wasn't allowed to die with dignity. And I think that's something that we all deserve.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wrote the book. I wanted others to know that they weren't alone. And if we don't tell our stories, then we're going to lose out on everything we've learned.
And my heart goes out to you. What did you discover were the biggest challenges you faced as a caregiver?
Gosh, well, I never expected to take care of mom. You know, we grow up, our parents take care of us. So it was was a shock. But my mom had dementia, and so she had become like a child. So when she could no longer live in the assisted living, I had to start looking for caregivers, which was very challenging to find someone that's loving, caring, trustworthy, but most importantly, patient.
Absolutely. And this is so difficult for everyone, but what advice do you have for those who find themselves in a similar caregiver role?
I'd say don't go it alone. Reach out to friends and family, anyone that can give you emotional and physical support. And if you're looking for a healthcare facility, make sure you do research and find the perfect fit for your loved one. And if you go through a home care agency, just be mindful that a lot of times they say they're sending their best person, but then sometimes it's just whoever's available. But the best thing I did was put cameras in my mom's place. Therefore, I could look in on her remotely and make sure she was getting the proper care. I told the caregivers we had cameras, and I think it made them more accountable. I mean, we do it for our children with nanny cams, so why aren't we doing this for the elderly?
And really quick, before we wrap up, what shocked you the most about how our society deals with senior citizens?
Oh, I was so shocked at how society treats the elderly. It is so important that we treat them with dignity and that we are their advocates when they can no longer speak for themselves. That's the essence of Grief and Grits. I really wanted to help others, and especially those that found themselves walking down the same path that I have found myself on.
Oh, amazing. Marsha, thank you so much for not only telling your story, but telling your mother's story. We appreciate everything you're doing, and thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, it's great. It was great to be here. Thank you for having me.